Hey y'all, what it is, bitch. Okay, so I promised y'all a story time about this wet blanket, wet sock, boring ass date. Okay, it's kind of comical now that I think about how boring it was. So here's what happened. So, just like through the text, he did not know how to flirt. Like when I got in the car, which mind you guys, when he picked me up, he had a big giant like Ram truck that's like tall, like you know those big trucks that those country boys drive. That's hard to get in. And y'all, I'm 5'3.5". So he didn't even offer to get out, open the door, and help me in. So that was red flag number one. So when I got in that damn truck, struggled, damn near fucking fell out trying to get in, he gonna say, "Oh, you look nice. I like that color on you. It brings out, it brings out your hair." I'm like, huh? Usually it brings out your skin, but whatever. We'll just let that, cool. So on the way to the restaurant, he starts saying, "Oh, how far is this restaurant? How much longer do I need to go? How far is it?" Oh, I'm like, dude, like this restaurant is literally like 13 minutes away. Like, it's not far. Like, I promise you it's not far. I know you drove like 40 minutes to get here, but that was your choice. But like, it's not that far. But anyway, I assure him that the restaurant's only like 13 minutes away and no worries, right? So after that, he starts talking about, "Oh yeah, I just had to just cater to my dog all day. It's my dog's birthday. Here's my dog." And he just showed me a bunch of pictures of his dog on his, and it's like, it's cute in a sense. And that's when I started asking about children, because I feel like if a man likes a dog this much, and it's like that, he'll probably want children, because if his dog is basically like his baby and he enjoys taking care of his dog like he acted like, then he probably wants kids. And plus, y'all, on his profile, it said open to children. So that's why I felt comfortable enough to ask him, "So, you're 34. Don't you want kids in the future? Like, do you?" And he says, "Oh my God, no. Like, I'm not sure about that. I'm kind of iffy. He even did this motion, iffy, which was sus. But yeah, he's like, my dog, he just takes up a lot of time. I have to wake up in the middle of the night to take him out to take a shit, and it takes a lot of time out from my work." And he works from home, by the way, for the most part. And talking about something, his dog is a lot to feed, and pet food is so expensive, and kids are expensive. And I'm like, oh my God. Why did you put on your damn profile that you're open to kids if you ain't open to kids? The fuck? Anyway, so I was a little irritated. I was fuming inside because, y'all, I'm a 28-year-old, almost 29-year-old woman. I want kids. I want to get sperminated, bitch. In the right circumstances. I want a man to fall in love with me, get engaged, get married and have kids. Okay, that's my dream. That's my dream. I almost had it with my Russian ex, but he was a psychotic piece of shit. But anyway, I digress. We finally get to the restaurant, and he didn't even open up my door then. And that was another thing. I had to act like I had a hard time getting out of the van for him to apologize. I damn near acted like I was about to fall out of the van. Not the van, the truck, for him to apologize, be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, oops, I didn't realize I didn't open up your door." Like, who? Anyway, so on the date, I'm like, "So when was your last relationship?" I remember him telling me over the phone that he had a relationship for 8 months, right? But I forgot how long he had been single prior to this. He's like, "Well, I dumped her in March." I'm like, "March of what year? March of 2021? March of 2022? Last month, March? Which March?" He said, "Last month." So as I have the obvious what the fuck face on my face, he starts to reassure me that they never had sex. Huh? So she was just there. So basically, she lived with him part-time, he claims. And she was there to help him with his dog, because, his dog is so hard to deal with, because his dog is like a big 70-pound dog. Oh, boo-hoo. It was your choice to get a damn dog. And he was talking about how his ex helped him show him around Atlanta, because he's new to Atlanta and all that. But he realized that, like, romantically, it wasn't it for him. And I'm like, "So she never fucked you in 8 months?" He's like, "No, we never had any sex." I'm like, "Not even oral?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, huh? Anyway, y'all, the type of man that I want would not let that happen. I'm sorry. I like dominant men, okay? I like country, conservative, dominant white men, okay? That would not let a bitch go that long without fucking them, okay? Take that of what you will. I'm just saying, you know. I want a man that will put his foot down and be like, bitch, that's my pussy, okay? Not some, oh, it was 8 months, we never had sex, huh? Anyway, so basically he was trying to tell me that it wasn't that big of a deal, even though it was 8 months and she practically lived with him. It wasn't that big of a deal, and he's over her and he doesn't think about her at all, and blah 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 blah, blah. Bullshit. And then as he's awkwardly staring at me like this, mind you, like, I mean, he had the weirdest like stare, like his eyes are super blue, so his eyes are like, yeah, as he was staring at me like this, I'm like, so you know, when was your last vacation? Because I didn't know what else to fucking say. That was weird. Anyway, he was like, well, I went out with my homeboys. You know, we went to Vegas. We partied. I did coke. I'm like, what? Anyway, that was a shocker because he's so boring, and it seems like, you know, it just seems like he's the type of man who it takes substances to get him to have a personality. Because you guys, he had the personality of a wet blanket, wet noodle, okay, a sock, a toenail. He had no personality, but he lit up when he was saying that he did some substances when he was in Vegas, y'all. Anyway, and then he was telling me, well, you know, also I have a lot of friends, I have a big friend group. A lot of my friends are married, so it was a big deal for them, and you know, their wives are always, you know, controlling, and you know, that makes me not really want marriage now. Now that I think about it, you asked me about kids. Now that I think about it, marriage, you know, seems scary to me too, because you know, all that control that those women have over you, and I'm like, huh? It's like, you're a bitch, okay? Like, real men would be able to handle a dog and children and want marriage. And if you didn't want marriage, you should have put it on your damn profile. Huh? You should have put that shit on your profile. Because another thing he had on his profile was he wants marriage one day. Huh? So he goes on this little rant about how basically his friends have been taken away from him because of their wives, and how it's hard for them to all travel, and he's gonna plan a pool party for all of them on Sunday, Easter Sunday, which is, I find weird. It's giving me a little sus, or a little bisexual energy, because why do you care so much about your homeboys getting taken from you? Anyway, the food comes. The food was great. The sushi was great. The sushi was the best part of the date, because, girl, he was just like, I feel like if he was really into me or into a relationship, he would be talking about traveling with me, like he claimed he wanted to travel with me, possibly, like he was talking about over the phone. But he wasn't even talking about that. And it's funny because he did compliment me, y'all. So I'm like, this was a complete mind fuck, because he was complimenting me. He said I looked good. He even said it in Spanish, because he can speak Spanish, because he grew up in Miami. He grew up in partially Miami, so he knows how to speak some Spanish. So he did say I was very beautiful in Spanish. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's asexual. I don't know if he's bisexual. But there was some of the milk ain't clean, because he went on a whole rant about how his homeboys are basically being taken away from him by their wives. And when you're in your mid-30s, shouldn't you be wanting to get a wife of your own? Y'all, it was so boring. Anyway, and usually I'm used to guys saying, what do you want to do next? Where do you want to go next? He didn't ask that. He asked for the check after we ate our 2 little rolls of sushi. He helped me out. He actually helped me get in the car, you know, that time. And, you know, he drove my ass home. And on the way home, he was saying, oh, you're way better than my last black girl date. I'm like, what? Basically, I was the second black girl he's been out on a date with, and the first one was too boring for him. And he's like, well, you're way better than her. You're not boring at all. You know how to spark up a conversation, Olivia. You know how to get those hard questions out of the way. I'm like, well, I had to do something, bitch. I would have fallen asleep on the table if not. Of course, I didn't say that to him. I said, well, yeah, I do have a timeline. You know, jokingly, I said I have a timeline. And this stupid fuck said, yes, you definitely have a timeline. You're 28. You'll be 29 soon. Your biological clock is ticking, honey. You know, if you want to have kids, you need to get on it soon. You know, you really do. Your eggs are close to going bad. I'm like, anyway, y'all, thankfully we were very close to my house, and he was very close to dropping my ass off, because he did. He dropped my ass off, and he actually walked me to the door. To my surprise, bitch, I closed the door in his face. We didn't kiss or nothing, because what in the fuck? And the only good thing I can say about this date was he paid for the sushi. The sushi was good, and he wasn't as fat. He looked at least maybe 10 or 15 pounds lighter than his pictures. Those only three things that were good about the date. All the rest were red flags. What do y'all think? So, what do y'all think though? Do y'all think I'm overreacting about this bad wet noodle toenail personality date or what? All right, bye y'all.